I didn't think you left Warwick.
I don't like to leave Warwick unless I have to.
Bananas.
75 yards from shore and come across a great white shark.
75 yards?
He calls himself a Swiftie. Unbelievable. Every single day went and got hot wieners my entire senior year.
Oh, yeah.
You're not even qualified to vote on this.
I want to know what the people think. They're trying to sell the house.
Ding, ding, ding. Win a chicken dinner. Welcome to episode 11 of Shootin The SHT, real banter with Nick and JT from the Slocum home team. I am Nick, and this is
JT.
Welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's a super exciting late September day here. Feels like fall all of a sudden. Do we like fall?
I love fall.
I love fall too.
I love the way it feels outside. It's cloudy. It's cool.
Rank the seasons.
Perfect. Fall, spring, summer, winter.
Oh, that's a terrible ranking.
Yeah, spring is probably my second to least favorite.
Spring is my least favorite.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Here are my rankings, and of course, they're of course they are the accurate rankings in the room anyway. So my season rankings are summer, fall, winter, spring.
Ooh. It used to be summer was number one for me. I've since switched to fall. I prefer fall, I think. Fall, summer. You're almost right, Nick. Almost.
Okay.
Fall, summer, spring, winter.
No.
Winter's my least favorite season.
Winter's nice. You kind of hunker down. You put a little, crock pot on. You get the fire going. Maybe if we're lucky, a couple of flakes falling on the outside.
You got Christmas. You got New Year's.
Yeah.
Okay, I changed my mind. Fall. Spring's my least favorite.
I love winter.
Spring's a big tease, is all spring is.
Yeah. It's lame. It's rainy.
Yeah, and the ground's wet and gross. You can't really play outside like golf. I always think to golf, so I go to golf.
I almost said if you removed golf, would summer still be one?
Yes, I love the summer.
Okay.
Put me by the ocean on the golf course
All right.
in shorts. I would take 98, 100-degree temperatures, even humid, all
Hey,
day
you're
long.
a sicko. I was thinking last week when I was dying in the heat. I was like, Nick would love this.
I
right
love
now.
the heat. I put the heat on in my car until July 4th.
I know you do.
Yeah.
It's torture when I'm in your car.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You put the heat on until when?
not quite. I mean, that was an exaggeration.
Oh, okay.
No, get in his car though on a hot day when you want the AC, and he'll pump the heat, and you can't breathe.
I like being hot.
But anyways, I agree with you that winter is good, especially when it snows. I love the snow, but other than that, it's dark. It's cold. When it's like 0 degrees and cold, but like no snow, then winter has zero to offer.
It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. But, that's what makes us New Englanders. If you couldn't bear that,
I can bear
Makes
it.
it
I'll
hard.
still
trial and tribulation of getting through those months, then who would you be?
bear it. I'll still get my
Californian.
iced
Yeah,
coffee.
exactly.
Yeah.
You
You'd
Look
be
at my
from
iced
California.
coffee in February. I can bear it, but it's my least favorite.
So I love winter. Winter would be definitely a higher ranking in my opinion if all it was November, December, and January.
100%.
But by the time February comes around, I'm definitely sick of winter.
When football ends.
And I would say fall would be higher ranking. It might be number one for me if it didn't have winter immediately following it.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
It's like the Sunday scaries of the seasons.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
I
it's-
disagree because when fall is here, I'm okay with winter coming. It's like you said, it's like February, March when football's over.
Jon Snow over here. I'm okay with winter coming.
When football's over, I'm done with winter.
Yeah.
But in the fall, I'm ready. Bring on winter. Bring on football. Like you said, crock pot. Maybe cook up some chili. Also, the holidays are coming. Thanksgiving's coming. Christmas is coming.
yeah.
Hold on. Do you think that you have more of an appreciation for the holidays now that you're an adult, or do you think you had more of an appreciation when you were a kid?
Totally different.
Totally right.
My priorities have changed.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
more towards your for Christmas for me, it's cliche, a bit trite, but now getting gifts from my wife and other people is more satisfying. Whereas a kid, you're like, what am I going to get for Christmas?
Exactly.
Thanksgiving is still great. I love Thanksgiving.
Well, that was my change. I agree with you on the gift giving. Like, I don't care. I don't want or need anything for Christmas, but I find so much joy in, it's exciting for me to, think, what are we going to get for Hudson? Also, setting them up
Sure.
under the tree to picture them, running out on Christmas
best.
morning. Yeah. So that is flipped. But also, when I was a kid, Thanksgiving was take it or leave it. It wasn't a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Where now Thanksgiving is one of my favorite days of the year. Could be my favorite day of the year. Family's there, glass of wine, good food, football on the TV. What more could you ask for?
It's fantastic. I actually often travel for Thanksgiving, so I'm a little bit of an outlier on that front. And I do enjoy getting out of town and having a nice meal, maybe some golf. It's fantastic. So Thanksgiving's wonderful. But going back to Christmas and the gifts, if you need any suggestions on what to get Jen, let me know. I got a really good line on egg separators. Some fantastic stuff.
I'm sure that's just what every woman wants.
All egg-related paraphernalia. Yeah.
All right. Top things to do in the fall. What are you looking forward to doing here?
Watching football is certainly up there. Going apple picking with the family. Enjoying some nice Halloween festivities. We usually watch a lot of, I know this is, brace yourselves, boys. We watch a lot of Halloween movies.
No, you do not.
Hell yeah.
No, I don't believe that.
Jen got me into this because she's, you make fun of
one of the Halloween movies you've watched recently.
Well, I haven't watched it recently because it's
Halloween.
September. Hocus Pocus.
Okay, classic.
Yeah.
Another?
Jen got me into it. She's big in it. She makes up for my lack of pop culture knowledge.
I got you.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna revisit that later.
Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
John, you just got back from a very hot
Well,
place.
hold on.
In fact,
hold on.
What do we got?
You didn't even ask me what I like doing in the fall. we went to apple picking and he's watched Hocus Pocus.
No
Then
one
we
asked
decided
me.
to
I
move
figured
on.
we were done.
What do you like doing in the fall, Nick? See, this is how a conversation works.
I like recording. I like recording podcasts with these two guys. No, actually, I love some business planning. No, actually, I do love golf.
Oh,
in
a
the
big
fall, it's
surprise.
fantastic.
Surprise.
I
Spring,
love playing
golf, summer,
No, spring
golf.
golf sucks. Fall golf is fantastic. But no, actually, my wife and kids went apple picking without me this past weekend when I was in a golf tournament. So, whoops on that one. So I'm not a big apple picking guy, though, to be honest. Not one of my favorite things to do. But I
It's
do
a family activity.
I feel like apple picking as an idea is more popular than it is an execution.
Absolutely.
Right? Like everyone always says, "Oh, I love going to apple picking." It's like, do you really?
You love it for the
do it once
Instagram
and it's-
post.
I like the
Exactly.
concept.
Yeah.
The family time.
Exactly.
It's nice for the family time. What about Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Is it?
My
I just
favorite.
lost a ton of respect for you.
No, it's okay.
Are you
I
a
don't-
dress up adult?
You didn't
dress
have a
up?
lot to begin with, so a lot of respect for me.
I have a lot of respect for you, Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg, I support you.
Thanks, buddy.
Christmas, I think, is still my favorite, but Halloween is like a fun lead up, and
I love Halloween.
I do like Halloween.
Halloween, I gotta say, probably the bottom of my holiday power rankings.
That's fair. Here's the thing. I do. We have a Halloween party each year, so that's the thing. We don't have kids. I'll preface it that way.
Sure.
I do think that it will take on a new meaning when we have children. Trick or treating can be, well, honestly, it's like sending out a bunch of like Oliver Twist style orphans to get me candy. So I think it's actually going to be pretty dope. But for now, you guys know I love watching horror movies. I love film in general, but horror movies are my jam. So from the beginning of September to the end of November, I'm watching like whatever movies I can get my hand on. So that's a huge part of it. I love
I'm
it.
not a big candy guy. I don't like dressing up. I've had
must
some
be fun at
interesting
parties.
experiences. I've had some interesting experiences on Halloween I could choose to forget.
Okay.
It's just not a
Like
fun.
what?
We don't need to go into everything.
I get excited for trick or treating, and this is going to be the first year I think that we take Hudson out. But I always love getting trick or treaters, and so many of those little shits just walk by my house because
So
they're not
many of
willing to.
those little shits.
They're Mount Tatro. They're not willing to walk up the stairs, and I'm like, we're giving you candy. Could you not be lazy? Like burn the calories on your way up, and then you get the candy. But
The
we
problem
also
is they're too soft now, John.
yeah. But in my neighborhood, it's fun. We know like a bunch of the adults in the neighborhood too. So they'll come by. The kids will come to the door. Kids will get candy. Adults will give them a beer for their next lap or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's a good time.
Real quick off the top of my head, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Victory Day, Christmas, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, way better than Halloween. Way better than Halloween.
sorry.
Flag Day is up there.
Victory Day.
Victory Day's up there. I mean, come on, in August.
MLK Day is you like it better than Halloween.
Absolutely, because
Go
because
ridiculous.
that time of year, you're ready for a day off. You're like, I could use a break. It's been a while
Earth
since
Day.
Christmas. Earth Day is a big one.
I'm also stunned that Christmas is so far down with your new tradition, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, on a later pod.
I love summer holidays. I just love a good summer holiday. Even though I had a bad experience on the 4th of July last year, not this year, the year
Yeah.
before.
Has there been a holiday you haven't had a bad experience on?
No, I have terrible experiences on all of them. For the Victory Day, I would probably say is the one I've had.
Oh wow,
very,
you know.
Victory Day.
This is why he just gets out of town and avoids everybody for holidays.
Exactly. So
He doesn't. Thanksgiving. Did you notice? Thanksgiving wasn't like, oh, a nice day, just me and the
Yeah.
girls. It was no Thanksgiving, some golf.
well, we
Yeah,
don't. We don't
he goes.
even-
He goes
No,
away
he
for
said,
Thanksgiving.
he said he gets out of town.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my first question: is how many crimes have you committed on Thanksgiving?
But like he'll go to like North Carolina or Florida for Thanksgiving, and then he'll go golfing by himself and leave the girls at the hotel.
Not on Thanksgiving Day, on Black Friday, baby.
Okay.
But yeah. No. So, and Lily's about to be at the age where she can join me on that stuff. So,
All right.
I mean, not to get too deep into like the sad stuff, but like I'm a product of divorce, so I have like all these mixed families and stuff, and it's just I don't have the John Tatro kumbaya, hang around and hold hands and have a wonderful big family holiday. It just people are in a lot of different directions, and it's just that's my life.
Hey,
And
I
so-
identify
You're
with
always-
that.
yeah,
Neither do I. My parents weren't together, but I did have two younger brothers.
Sure.
So like part of the holidays for me was just like it was fun having brothers and like watching them open gifts and stuff. So that kind of became like why I liked it. And now it's just fun to like decorate and stuff and all that shit. You know.
So I mean, at my stage, I've more identified holidays with my core four,
Right.
My wife and my two kids. So that's
Yeah.
what we do, and we create our own little traditions, and it's been wonderful. So, and then we make everyone come to us on Christmas and deal with our shenanigans and go from there. So, yeah, that's basically my story in a nutshell. On to my
Well, you're
holiday.
always welcome at the Tatra house on holidays.
I'm good. I appreciate the invite, but
Let me ask you guys a question. What is your favorite season to enjoy a nice key lime LaCroix?
power rankings on those seasons, same as my no, a little bit opposite. I will go summer, fall, spring, winter.
To enjoy a fresh key lime LaCroix
Yes.
every single day.
That's right.
Because LaCroix just quenches the thirst so much more than those other seltzers out there.
Can't even
Other
remember.
seltzers are out there. Other family-owned
I'll
seltzer
leave them-
companies that refuse to sponsor our podcast.
Yeah, I'll leave them nameless for now.
Okay. Even a little like repost on there, would be great. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything at all.
Thanks, Polar.
Heart the post.
No,
Come on.
look, this LaCroix Key Lime. I gotta say, I told you out there, this is the #1 flavored seltzer of any brand on the market right now, and it is absolutely amazingly delicious. And I would love to drink one each and every day, multiple times a day.
I think their regular lime is better than the key lime.
I agree.
That's what
But
you're
man,
wrong.
are they top.
I agree with you, John.
All right,
Thank
John.
you, Nate.
Speaking back to heat, tell me a bit, Nate. What are your favorite things to do in the fall?
Horror films.
We kind of talked about it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great. John, tell me about Disney World.
Yeah, so went to Disney with the fam last
Yep.
week. It was a great time.
Okay.
We explored
Best snack in Disney that you had.
snack.
Are you not a snacker?
No, I'm confirming like snack, not meal.
Yeah, snack.
Egg roll cart.
Which one did you go with, the cheeseburger, or did they have a special rotating egg roll?
They had cheeseburger and the pepperoni.
Pepperoni's a good
Yeah.
one.
So Jen got the cheeseburger.
Yep.
I got the pepperoni, and then we swapped.
Ooh, little swapperoo.
Yeah,
It's a good move. Pro
Yeah.
move right there.
yeah.
Other snacks. So some other good snacks you had.
Not a huge snacker actually. So a lot of times when we stopped for snacks, it
Yep.
was to get Jen and Hudson ice cream. And I was
What's
just
the best ice cream in Disney?
probably
The one in France that
Yeah.
you love?
Yeah.
That's good stuff right there.
So a lot of times, it's gonna sound bad, but a lot of times they would stop for ice cream or a snack, and I would just get like a beer or a cocktail.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Do you have a drinking problem?
not really.
just him like just so drunk eating egg rolls at the car. Husband's like, I want to go home.
Just slouch down with a thing of egg rolls on my belly.
What was Hudzo's favorite ride?
Probably Dumbo.
Okay. How many times did you go on?
I think 4,
Okay.
maybe 5. But then we also did Aladdin's flying carpet. So
Weak imitation.
yeah.
Did you get sprayed by the camel?
So no.
Oh, wow.
He liked the teacups too.
Nate's
It
like,
was
what are you
interest-
guys talking about?
It was interesting this time because last time he liked so many rides.
Okay.
And he loves things that like whip him around and
Sure.
and all that. So, for example, he loved Ratatouille,
Yep. Great ride.
Mickey's Runaway Railway, so many different rides
It's
like
kind
that.
of intense. Mickey
It is, but
Runaway.
he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Nice.
He's a big Mickey fan, so like Goofy right there on the front of the
Sure,
train and all
yeah.
that. I'm trying to think of what else. Frozen, he didn't like. I thought he would because he's obsessed with Frozen right now.
Lucy hates
But
Frozen.
he didn't like anything that went in the dark this time. He was very sensitive to dark, so he didn't like Frozen. didn't like Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
didn't like Peter Pan, like anything that got dark, he didn't like.
Peter Pan's iconic.
I know.
Great ride.
Yeah, but it was dark,
It's
so
funny
he
how that
hated it the whole
changes.
time.
Yeah, Lucy hated the Frozen ride where the marshmallow snowman monster comes out at the end, and then the dip goes down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought it was
Bawling
cool
her
how
eyes
they
out.
spin you around and send you down backwards.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was good. Good fireworks.
cold?
No, it was hot.
Now, is this like hot for me or hot for you? Or was it like 92, 95?
This was it was like mid to high 90s and extremely humid.
Beautiful.
So
Great weather.
we spent a lot of time at the pool, and this was like hot for, I think, just about anybody.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time at the pool, and I was shooting the shit with a guy at the pool one day, and he asked where we were from.
Should tell him about the podcast.
I didn't, but I should have, shooting the shit, So we're talking, and he asked where we were from, and then I asked where he was from, and he was from Texas. So I said, "Oh, so you're used to this weather?" And he went, "No." He said, "We're used to like 115, but that's a dry heat." He goes, "This is rough with the humidity." So a guy from Texas used to 115 thought that it was hot.
I'll tell you what. When people say that, when they're like, "Oh, it's Arizona, it gets above 100, but it's dry heat," I'm always like, if it's above 100 degrees, it's hot as balls. It doesn't matter what the humidity is.
Yeah.
The humidity is
Makes a
like
difference.
in Florida though. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting off the plane. It's like my wife calls me a swamp baby because I was born in Florida. Fun fact. I don't know if you guys
Didn't
knew
know
that.
that.
I was
Swamp-
born in
swamp baby.
Plant City, Florida.
Plant City.
Plant City, Florida. And my mom moved
Is
away.
that why you're going to live to 111?
Maybe.
It's probably
the
why he goes to
swamp
Plant City
preserved
for
me.
lunch and gets his tofu fries or
Oh.
whatever he gets.
Oh, I haven't had Plant City in a while.
Hang on, Florida. Continue. We'll go
Yeah.
back to that.
Oh, yeah. So
How long did you live in Florida?
Till I was a year old.
Oh.
Yep. My
True
mom.
Floridian.
Yeah, right. I was born there, but I think my body just acclimated to the weather. Because you got to figure, I spent 9 months incubating
Absolutely.
Yeah.
in the heat.
Plus
So-
12 more.
Speaking of like
That's
1-year-old baby, Jen started laughing one day. We were walking through Epcot, and there was a woman carrying a baby in just a diaper. Like it was that hot.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone this year? Twice?
In 2024.
Oh, 2020. Okay, sorry. In 2023, you went once.
Yeah. So in the last like 12 months, or in
Sure.
2024,
In the last 12 months.
3.
You've gone 3 times?
We went with Hudson as a family last October. Then Nick and I were down there for a conference in February.
It was
Mar-
February.
February.
Oh, okay, that's
so
fair.
Jen and I
Yeah,
did like
yeah,
a long weekend before, and then now we took Hudson back.
Have you ever been to Europe?
Yes.
Oh, you
I
have. Yes, thank you, Nick. I know. Where have you gone?
Scotland actually.
Scotland. When was the last time you went? Or when did you go?
Didn't even play golf. Home and golf. Ridiculous.
Oh, you gotta play golf in Scotland.
did.
5 years ago. You gotta
about
next
5
next
years
trip. You gotta go out of the U.S.
No, I think
Out
it
of
was more than
Orlando.
5 years
Just
ago.
go out of Orlando.
Yeah, just go. Yeah,
And
right.
Kissimmee, yeah.
Yeah. With the price you pay at Disney, you could probably afford like a okay vacation in like France or England, or go to Sweden or Italy. There's so much of the world to see.
Yeah, but I have a true Englishman right here. What do I need to go there for?
That's a good point.
Let me get your English accent, Nick.
Good day, mate.
Can I have a pint, please?
That was more of an Australian one. I definitely
Australian.
screwed that
Good
one
eye,
up.
mate.
I had it down when I came back. I basically was adopting their accent.
Go that far.
Okay, crocodile hunter over here. But twice on that trip, we're asking about the heat. There were 2 times where I was in the sun, and the only way I could explain it is I felt like I was being burned alive.
Cheerio.
Jesus,
It was brutal.
that's awful.
Yeah, but it was a good time.
Okay.
How did your pregnant wife feel about it? Was she miserable or she was okay?
She was a trooper.
Yeah,
She was definitely hot
She's
a few
tough,
times,
right?
but
Yeah.
we called it the water tax. Every time we stopped for a ride, I made her and Hudson drink water.
That's smart.
Good move.
While you were drinking beer.
I drank a lot of water too. And like when I would stand in line for stuff, I'd have them go sit in the shade, and then we spent a lot of time at the pool. So she
Solid.
was a trooper.
Yeah.
Are you going to travel much when the baby comes, baby Nick?
Like immediately, no.
Why not? You got to acclimate them to
my-
going on airplanes.
It's going to be a handful. I think Hudson's been on airplanes. He's been on twice before his 3rd birthday, and he does great. I think I told you this, Nick. We're coming down in the rain that you were golfing in on Saturday, so it was
Yeah,
pretty
brutal.
choppy coming in. And Jen doesn't like turbulence, so she was kind of holding on, just assuming, we're all going down and we're going to die. This is it. But the bumpier it got, the bigger the smile on Hudson's face got.
Really?
And he just started like, how you make the sound and then sometimes you like bang your chest or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah.
He started doing that, so like the bumps would adjust his voice. He had the best time with
That's
the turbulence.
awesome. That's the best you can hope for, right?
Moving on, Nate put together this agenda for the first time today, maybe the second time. You did the initial episode, and now you're making a return on episode number 1-1. And we have one more topic to touch upon in the introduction, and that is Bulls on Parade.
Bulls on Parade.
You guys
hear
heard about this, right?
I did.
Before we get rolling, I just have one question, John, is who sang Bulls on Parade?
Some dead guy?
Nope. And the fact that you don't know is extremely disappointing and sad.
All right. So I did hear about this. I heard about it on Sunday. I forget what I was looking for, but I opened my phone and I saw it, and it was pretty funny because we'll go to Route 1 a lot to get coffee or whatever. So I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Like, there's 8 bulls. Like, imagine if they find their way over here. And I let Cash out. And there's like a bull in my backyard. So, but pretty wild. 8 bulls escape and just running through neighborhoods.
They escaped. You're playing Bulls on Parade. It's Rage Against the Machine, by the way, John.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Rage Against the Machine was like one of the best albums
I
around.
recognize this song, but you know this. I'm not good with song and artist names. I recognize this, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you who it was.
So you know
Tom
the
Morello?
song.
Come on.
I recognize the songs, but I can't tell you the name or who sang it.
But that means you don't listen to that type of music.
I mean, I'm not going to go searching for it.
What type of what type of music do you listen to besides Taylor Swift?
I thought we were going to get through a whole episode without talking about Taylor Swift.
No
Ruined
chance.
it. It's not on the agenda.
You listen to the Beatles. You listen to Taylor Swift. What else?
I listen to Zach Brown
the
Band.
Beatles. I listen to the Beatles.
He loves the Beatles.
He loves the Beatles.
Yeah.
I do like the Beatles.
I quite like the Beatles myself.
I do too, but
I
I
like-
mean, it's an interesting number 2 for somebody in
I
2024.
didn't say it was my number 2. Same thing. I don't listen to the Beatles on Spotify. Hudson listens to the Beatles a lot from when he hangs out with my parents. My dad got him into the Beatles and the Traveling Wilburys. So he's
Traveling Wilburys is a great band.
yeah.
It's a super group.
Wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it is
yeah.
Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and George Harrison.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
just listening to Roy Orbison the other day.
Yeah, great band.
Yeah.
And Bob Seger.
No.
No, Bob Dylan.
I said Bob Dylan.
He said Bob
I?
Did you?
Yeah. I started with Dylan, I think.
Yeah.
Did you?
Bob
You're
Seger.
missing someone.
Nah, he moves. What?
The point I was trying to make,
Missing someone.
JT, was would you listen to something like Bulls on Parade? Because it seems like you don't listen to kind of like edgy,
Anything?
like harder rock music. Because Rage Against the Machine it's a little edgy. Used to be.
Do you listen to Puff Daddy?
Not like you.
A freak party? What is it called? Freak parties?
I don't remember.
1,000 bottles of baby oil they confiscated?
Notorious B.I.G. was the best thing to come from Puff Daddy from that record label.
Oh, yeah. Bad Boy?
Yeah. No, though? You don't listen to rock really? Or
Not usually.
no? It's almost like
I want to see John's Spotify rap at the end of the year. I want to see what's going on there.
It's almost like you've lived a life that's so charmed that you've had all the rough edges sort of filed off. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I agree. I agree. It's the complete antithesis of how I grew up, with just only sharp edges. But it's nice.
See, like
It's
when I
nice.
was a young kid, like my parents would play the Beatles, they would play the Eagles, Traveling Wilburys. I grew up, I listened to, I listened to different stuff in like high school and stuff. Don't ask me names, Jesus. But now it's like
Jesus?
Zach Brown
Listen to
Band,
Jesus?
Taylor
Jack Brown Band?
Swift,
You say Jack or
Zach Brown Band.
Okay, they said Jack Brown.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift. I like Hootie.
And the Blowfish.
You went to Hootie.
What's wrong with that?
You're the whitest person I've ever met. I'm into Hootie.
I like Taylor Swift. I like Zach Brown. I like Hootie and the Blowfish.
and the Blowfish.
Oh, boy.
Lord.
All right, back to the Bulls on Parade.
man.
So we had this outdoor rodeo. First time I ever heard of an outdoor rodeo up here in our parts. Not
to do
usually
something at
something that
Emerald Square
draws
Mall.
a big crowd out in the Northeast. Hey, let's go to the rodeo this weekend. Anyway, apparently some bulls escaped this rodeo, trampled the fences, and were on the loose. Bulls on the loose in, where was it?
North Attleboro.
North Attleboro.
Running down Route
Emerald
1
Square
and into
Mall.
neighborhoods.
So my immediate thought and reaction to this story in anticipation of this podcast was, if you had to choose
Oh, boy.
between encountering a shark in the wild, a great white shark, a grizzly bear in the wild, or a bull in North Attleboro, What are we going with?
I'll take a bull in North
I'll take a
Attleboro.
bull all day.
I think the Bull's the right
Oh,
call,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
still not a fun one.
No.
No. So what would you
Did you
do
see
if you ran across? Oh yeah.
Did you see the video of them
The
catching
guy-
the lobster? The guy's in the street like, easy, big fella.
I just see that.
The parking lot when they first ran away and they were like going through the parking lot and everyone's like ducking out of the way. That was pretty wild.
And then the pictures of like all 8 of them marching down the street together.
Absolutely insane.
In a line.
It's crazy.
So what would you do if you ran across? Never mind 1 bull, 8 bulls in North Attleboro.
I'd probably try to get the hell out of there. I don't think I'd
Is
run,
it a
though.
run or is it
No,
stand them down?
no, no,
Stare them
no.
down?
I think
Yeah.
it's probably like
Flex.
slowly back away.
I work out.
He'd probably try to find something red and wave it at him.
Did you get fresh LaCroix?
No, he didn't.
No,
I
next
would
break.
probably slowly back like up into the side to try to ease out of their vision.
Okay. Nate, what color do you have on this story?
This is why we don't have rodeos here.
Great point.
Clearly, we can't contain them.
Crazy.
I wouldn't run.
How many people were at this rodeo
At the Emerald Square Mall.
in a parking lot
Yeah.
in a
Like,
concrete
what?
jungle?
Yeah, but do you know how empty that parking lot is these days?
There's like nothing in the mall anymore, is
Exactly.
Oh, no. Is really the Emerald Square Mall, too?
I haven't been to the Emerald Square Mall since I was 4 years old. I don't
Really?
think, so
I remember Swansea when Swansea shut down.
Yeah.
That was sad.
It's not closed, but it's pretty empty from my understanding.
I don't think I've been in any
I
mall.
couldn't tell you
in
the
a long
last time I was there, but
It's a dying business.
The mall.
Yeah.
It's because every time you go to the mall, they never have your, like, for my wife anyway, she's like, they never have my size. They're out of everything because everyone's using online shopping. You
Yeah.
know?
well,
It's
yeah,
like-
you can order on Amazon and it's there probably faster than you can drive to the mall.
Honestly.
Can be tough for women, though, because their sizes are all over the place.
Yeah.
You've heard this, right, Nick?
I've heard, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, you have 3 girls.
Sure. I do.
Like, you know, I go to whatever, Banana Republic, Gap, whatever. And I know what my size is going to be. You know, like I'm usually a medium or a large. My wife,
Flex.
yeah, definitely a large, like in the biceps. I got to get them sometimes tailored to accommodate.
He
Just
goes
like,
to Baby Gap, so it looks tight.
I do. And I have made that joke. But my wife will go to like, 5 different stores and they all have different sizes for women because they're all trying to like accommodate to all different body types. It's a mess. And this is something
tough.
we should be talking about. I should have put that on the agenda.
You should have.
So does Angela and the girls go shopping, or do they
there's
order online?
8,000 packages at the front door every day. I wonder how many actually ever get returned too if they don't fit. I bet
Jen's gotten pretty good at that.
35%.
Oh, we always do. Yeah.
Yeah, she goes to I think it's like Whole Foods and Kohl's. You can bring stuff to, and they'll even box it up for you.
You're having another boy, so you're gonna get to where I get is like if it doesn't fit Lily, if it's too small for Lily, it'll fit Lucy eventually.
You'll grow into it.
Yeah, she'll grow into it.
Yeah.
So let's jump into some real estate news since that is the focus of this podcast. Now that we're about probably 30 minutes in or so. So
Thank you if you're still listening.
yes, appreciate that. I think I know of like the 4 people who actually listen to us on a consistent basis.
We've got actually more followers now. So
Is it increasing?
it is increasing
we
steadily.
taking off? Yeah.
Slowly but surely. Well, I wouldn't say we're taking off, but
going viral.
Still
Yeah.
can't get Polar to sponsor
When
us.
are we going to get some sponsors? Who's going to be our first sponsor? If you had to guess.
we're only on episode 11.
What are you going to get to? 111?
No, we got to keep going. I think you guys got to let me take the reins a little bit more, and then we'll skyrocket. from
reins
there.
are yours.
You're the talent. We've now
No,
brought the talent.
no,
I'll
no,
call
no,
some.
no.
John Raynone says he
How's the
listens
light
on his
hitting
way
me?
to work. When are they
John
going to step
does.
up?
Billy Allman. Most of my girlfriend to listen to us. That's
I know some
basically
people that
it.
We
listen.
got to get the word out more.
We do.
Yeah.
We need some stickers.
People, we
That'll
do
fix
need
it.
stickers.
We
We do.
Shooting the
We
SHT.
need some shooting the SHT
that's
swag.
That'll
we're looking
change
for.
everything.
We need swag.
We need some more LaCroix too.
We do. I wish someone
The
would
next
just
break.
go out the door and get some.
Call Eric up.
I will. We'll call him up in a little bit.
Yeah, bring in some.
We'll squeeze him into the agenda. We'll see if he's still in that interview. Anyway, big news last week. The Fed reduced rates 50 basis points. What's that mean, John?
For mortgage rates?
For anything. Tell me about it.
Well, it's going to
Spit
be.
some fire on us.
I think it's going to.
Just be careful.
I think it's going to help a lot of people. For example, credit card rates could go down, car rates could go down, but for our industry, the 30-year fixed, it was really anticipated and already baked into the rates.
It sure was.
A lot of-
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
You want some color or what?
Yeah, please.
I
Bring
had-
it on.
It was already baked in. So people were all excited the other day, saying, oh, rates went down, time to do this, time to do that. But then the 30-year fixed actually went up.
It did.
Not dramatically, but it went up a little bit because it was already baked in.
A couple days later, it jumped a fair amount.
It was already baked in.
I thought my bet was gone.
Your
I thought
bet
it was
is
done.
your bet's gone. Oh,
No.
he's acted so cocky when I bring it up, and he's like, "Oh, it's fine," but he thought it was gone.
At one point, I was like, "How do you take your steak?"
So, but I do think it will go down. I still feel good about our bet, but that was already factored in. However, I think it's interesting that even the local news is acting like it's the 30-year fixed. Rates have come down like 2 points since earlier this year. Are you listening?
No, I'm telling Nate he's mean. He told me to go for a jog.
You're both mean.
Breathing so heavy.
You're both mean, by the way.
My nose is stopping.
So rates have come down about 2 points this year, right? And we've been waiting to see at what point that's going to get more buyers out there. And then all of a sudden, the Fed cuts it by 0.5 point. The news makes it sound like this is something new. And you have busier open houses this weekend. So they're all listening to the news. So it's important to get the word out there in a more timely manner. More people should probably listen to the podcast because we keep them more up to date on what's actually happening with the mortgage rates. But that's my Cliff Notes for you.
I think it's a great trend. It's the start of a great trend. I believe it had been over 1,650 days, I believe, since the Fed has taken a rate cut. So usually they don't just take one rate cut. It
was over 1,000 days.
That's what I said, 1,600.
Oh, I thought you said 600. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
My bad.
So it's a little over 4.5 years of increasing rates from the Fed. So this is a good sign. It's probably the first of numerous rate cuts. As we've already discussed, I don't believe mortgage rates are going to dramatically drop because they already have and have built that in anticipation of these cuts.
Yeah, fell into like 5.99.
I was out somewhere, and even our coach sent out a text saying, "Oh, Nick, how you feeling?" I think the rates were down. The average 30-year was down like 6.03. And for those who don't know, we have a bet going with John that if rates touch anything in the fives for the average 30-year fix, then I owe him a Capital Grill dinner. And I thought basically it was over at that point. But since they have bounced back up quite a bit. And today, Wednesday, September 25th at 1:32 p.m., as of this recording, the Mortgage News Daily website shows the average 30-year fix at 6.19%. So still, still got some room there. Still got some breathing room. So I'm feeling better. Still feel like there's a chance. I think you might hit it. I think you might not. I think I have to put the odds at 65-35 in your favor right now.
I put them a little higher, but not bad.
Okay.
You're coming around. You're starting to accept your fate.
What do you think about the fact that we were talking last week about 6.3% they were saying for those major metropolitan areas?
And we were above it back then.
Yeah. So
2
now
weeks
we're
ago.
below that.
We are, and we were quite a bit lower, actually, as of about 10 days ago, 7 days ago, somewhere in that range. And it was down to just barely over 6, and have since jumped back up. So certainly, I mean, one thing is for sure is that I don't think anybody can really predict rates accurately. Certainly, everyone's right. And a clock is right twice a day, right? Is that the old saying?
Yeah.
So certainly it could
Even a
happen.
broken clock is right.
A broken clock is right
Twice a day.
twice a day. So that's
That clock is right.
A blind squirrel's right twice a day.
a broken clock is, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, certainly think that is certainly coming. When it hits, who knows? But it is a good sign that the Fed is starting a series of rate cuts. They're looking for that soft landing, and they went beyond the traditional quarter-point cut. Since we are absent of a looming, in their words, looming recession or a crisis. Now, our good buddy, Dr. Lawrence Yun, who came and spoke at the Real Estate Power Summit. I don't think we've even spoken about the Real Estate Power Summit since our last podcast, right?
No, the summit was in between.
It was. So we had Dr. Lawrence Yun in town to give us an economic update, and his words really were that 6-ish is the new normal. Does that mean 5.9? Does it mean 6.1, 6.2? Does it mean exactly where we are today? It basically is what he was anticipating, not only now, but for the foreseeable future. Some of his other quotes, Dr. Lawrence Yun, any further decline in mortgage rates will be minimal. This is after the Fed's cut, by the way. The Fed does not directly control mortgage rates, and the federal budget deficit is huge, according to Dr. Lawrence Yun. And that's fact, not fiction. Important to note that the Fed's rate influence is not directly tied to mortgages, and mortgage rates have already anticipated these rate cuts.
You're grinning because you're neglecting to share what you asked Dr. Yoon point blank.
I did.
As soon as he walked in that day.
I did.
You asked him his thought. Dr. Yoon walked through the front door, and Nick got all excited. He won't listen to anyone else who shares their opinion on this, but he is a Lawrence Yoon fanboy.
Yeah.
And as soon as Dr. Yoon walked through the door, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to get the answer I want on our bet."
I wasn't saying I was going to get the answer. I said, Dr. Yoon, we have a side bet. Do you think rates will touch anything in the 5s this year? He said, probably.
Good timing over there, Nate.
He said 5.99, maybe. He didn't say they're going to definitely hit in the 5s.
Well, nobody can say for sure.
Absolutely.
But you asked the chief economist for the National Association.
I did.
Someone that you admire greatly and respect the opinion of.
Did you see the picture of Dr. Yoon and myself?
Oh, I did.
The one I took of you guys?
Yeah.
This is a good one, right?
You saw those?
Maybe it wasn't that one.
Wow.
I think
I
it
could
was,
tell you would fanboy over that later.
it might
I
have
was
been like
I
a
gotta get
selfie.
this.
You took a selfie with him.
There was me and Dr. Yoon in the front row watching another presentation, just staring up at it.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. What one thing that I just before we continue, did you see in the notes? It said the half percentage point or 50 basis point cut was remarkable, in that it's the first time the Fed has gone beyond its traditional quarter point move, absent a looming recession or crisis.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time
Ever.
that they've done this since. Now, COVID was somewhat unprecedented. I mean, we did have the Spanish influenza back in World War One, but that's a little bit concerning. And back to the point you guys are making, like no one actually know. Like he was using, what do you say, recalibration?
Yes, recalibration.
He's up there trying to be like, oh, we got this under control. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. That's kind of that is a remarkable fact.
Mm-hmm.
The first time, absent a looming recession, that this has happened. So interesting. Might want to keep an eye on that. Didn't you have a friend or someone who you trust who said that a recession was likely?
Yes, we have certainly heard that quite a bit. So there's a lot of conflicting factors out there. I'm certainly not an economist, but I know JT was sharing on one of the pods, I believe it was from that broker forum. Things like credit card debt is increasing, savings are decreasing, auto loan defaults are increasing, things along those lines. So there's a lot of other factors outside of the real estate marketplace that are showing that things are tight for a lot of people right now. People aren't as flush as they had been in recent years, and where that heads in the future and what that correlates to long term is yet to be determined.
In regards to the interest rates being 6% and that being the new normal, they have been higher in the past. However, if you're talking like back in the 70s, you're talking was it like 7.8%, something like that? Wages have stagnated exponentially compared to cost of living.
Absolutely. Actually, I just pulled up Dr. Yoon's slides from the Real Estate Power Summit, and I'm looking right now at the income required to buy a medium price home.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the study from Realtor.com that we talked about on the last podcast, and how a lot of homes in Providence are just outside of that affordability for the median income earner. And with rates jumping below 6.3, they are now within grasp based upon their stats.
Yeah.
But still, the median income required has skyrocketed since January of 2022-ish, based upon this chart that I'm looking at right now.
It's all affordability.
Nate Dogg, look at that right there.
Yeah. I remember his presentation and being like, oh, God. Like, I think he has said at one point, the only good news I have is that we're getting close to a zero level, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
It all comes down to affordability. Like you said, rates have been much higher. Like people talk about when they bought houses at 18%, and historically 6s are pretty average. But you have home prices at historic highs. You have wages not increasing at the same rate. And
lack of inventory.
Yeah. So which is driving the prices up.
Right.
So when it comes to affordability, it's more challenging than it has been.
So here's one of the charts I was looking for: the government outlay versus tax revenue. The spread on that has increased dramatically in recent years. That's an interesting chart there. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then finally, the last chart I was looking for is he said we can expect 6 to 8 rounds of cuts to the Fed funds rate, and expects the mortgage rate to slowly descend in coming years. He projects out to December 20. January 2026 in this chart with a very slow decline on mortgage rates. So anyone waiting for that massive change in rates, I think he might be waiting a long time. As he mentioned, 6 is kind of what we can become accustomed to and grow to expect in the near future, around 6. And that's all I got to say about that.
Cool. Yeah. That's great. Cost of living needs to go down and wages need to go up.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, right?
And for those waiting around, you're probably going to miss out on a lot of equity, and prices are going to go up.
Absolutely. Do you know the wealth comparison between owners and renters? Homeowners and renters, John?
Share it, Nick.
You don't have it off the top of your head? It's not a stat.
All three of us are homeowners. That's nice.
That is nice.
I got in while it was 3.3 something percent.
But what happens when
it's
Nate Dogg, do you guys, if you ever wanted to grow a family, if you had a family, what would you do? Well, are you going to stay in your condo because you have a good rate, or are you going to explore a purchase so that you have a better quality of life with your family?
No, I would upsize. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Even though the rate would be 6?
Yeah, definitely would. Yeah. You have to. There's no choice. I would consider, I've always kind of wanted to live up north, like New Hampshire, Vermont.
You're leaving us now?
It's not going to work.
No. Well,
how are you going to take photos from Vermont and New Hampshire?
drone. Soon you just AI. You just use AI.
Who's going to produce our podcast?
We'll build a robot and I can just Skype in. You know what I mean?
We'll have him cast on the wall over there.
Yeah. No. But I would seriously consider moving somewhere maybe a bit more affordable.
You just ruined the podcast.
No, why?
It's unbelievable.
What?
Can
Well,
you turn your notifications
yeah, it's
off?
so annoying. Here's the thing. I grew up in Massachusetts, so I don't really have the same. I don't have the same.
I can't go on if Nate's not going to be here.
You can. You'll be fine. I'm not going anywhere.
He just resigned.
Live.
Dude, I resigned. You guys will be
Cut.
fine.
Cool. Wealth comparison to wrap this up. In 2022, the average net worth of a homeowner was $396,200. The average net worth of a renter was $10,000.
That was my guess.
$400. And now, Dr. Yoon's projections for 2024. Do you want to tell me how you believe that's been has it increased, decreased since 2022? What do you think there?
Increased.
That's a good guess. Up to 4. Nate's just smashing a cupcake over there.
He's about to
I didn't have lunch.
You were eating soup and a loaf of Italian bread like an hour ago.
I know. I went out there. It was still out there uncovered.
This guy.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, this year, $415K for net worth of homeowners and a projected $10,000 for renters. A decrease there. So that's Dr. Yoon's take on the national economy, mortgage rates, and the net worth of homeowners versus renters. So next thing on the agenda, there was a new study that was released that says 1 in 8 homeowners don't have homeowners insurance. Now, I saw this. This is from NBC News, all right? So this is an article that was put out. New Census Bureau data shows homeowners in the South and the Gulf Coast are particularly vulnerable. 1 in 8 U.S. homeowners, no homeowners insurance.
That's terrifying.
That's nuts.
Especially, I mean, that's terrifying anywhere.
Yeah.
But the Gulf Coast, they're about to get hit with a hurricane this weekend.
They don't ever have any bad weather. Yeah,
Jeez.
no big deal. Just
Now, I will
wild.
say, I'm sure what is factoring into this is the affordability of insurance.
Oh, 100%.
But, especially in those areas. But my goodness. What did you crack over there, by the way? Was that a fresh... Oh, it definitely wasn't that family-owned company.
No, it was a fresh key lime LaCroix.
Oh, LaCroix.
This
the
podcast
go-to
is-
seltzer.
Not brought to you by LaCroix, but we'd like it to be.
I want to know is, look at this. 0 calorie, 0 sweetener, 0 sodium equals innocent.
LaCroix, if you would like to have your background behind Nick on this podcast, give us a like, give us a share, sponsor this podcast. We would love to talk.
Insurance prices in places like Florida have shot up 200%. But do you know what has not shot up 200%? Key lime LaCroix. So there you go.
So,
By the way, I would be willing to bet insurance in Florida has shot up more than 200%.
I bet so too. For thousands of homeowners in Louisiana's Terrebonne Parish, I might pronounce that wrong, but Terra something along those lines. 94% of homes were left without power after Hurricane Francine crossed its shore
Thursday.
and 1 out of 4 of those 31,000 homeowners don't have insurance. 1 out of 4. One of the highest percentages
That's
in the U.S.
insane. What are they going to do?
Pray. Long story short is please don't go without homeowners insurance. That's absolutely insane. Homes are typically one of someone's largest investments. And I totally understand the affordability concerns. The one thing I can encourage people to do is if rates are going up, which they are for almost everybody right now, we're seeing rate increases left and right. Call around, talk to an independent agent like ourselves. Talk to an independent agent. See what they can do for you. See what options are out there. Companies' appetites are changing all the time. Rates are changing all the time. There are other strategies to lower your rates without totally impacting your coverage through discounts, higher deductibles, things along those lines. Reach out to Slocum Insurance, www.slocumins.com/get a quote, and we'd be more than happy to do that for you. So
Yeah, mine was slated to go up this year. It was early. It was like in the spring when it renewed, but it was slated to go up just like everyone else's. It was going to go up a few $100s a year, which it sucked, but it was pretty much what's happening to everybody. But I changed my deductible. I think it was $1,000. I made it $5,000 because I thought, well, I'm not going to file a claim for less than $5,000 because it's only going to hurt me down the road.
Sure.
So changing my deductible to $5,000 instead of going up a couple $100, it actually went down from what it was.
Exactly. I did the same thing. I went to $5,000 on my deductible. I also grabbed some water detector alarms off of Amazon for like $10.
Oh.
And I lowered my premium, I think it was like $100 by putting those near my hot water tank. So
is it like a moisture detector?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
So there are ways to do things like that to lower your premium. So talk to your agent and see what you can do to obviously maximize every dollar and make that policy as affordable as possible. One thing I would never recommend doing is just decreasing your coverage by call it cut in half. Why, John?
What?
The old co-insurance clause. That's always something we want to avoid.
I missed the beginning. I was coming in with
You
something
weren't
different.
listening to me.
I was ready to. I had something on the tip of my tongue, and then you changed course.
So say your replacement value is $500,000, and you're like, hey, listen, I can't afford $500,000. I'm just going to reduce my coverage to $250,000 because that will cover most of the situations that occur or whatever. That's not the case because there's a clause in most, I believe all homeowners policies called the co-insurance clause, which basically says how much did you carry over how much should you have carried times the loss. So if you underinsure your home, say for $250,000, it should have been carrying $500,000 due to the replacement value of that home. On a partial loss, say a kitchen fire, you would collect. Say a kitchen fire was $100,000, you would only collect $50,000 because you only carried 50% of the amount of your replacement value.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
What? See, this is the type of expertise that Slocum Home Team and Insurance can provide.
Absolutely. We have a unique perspective, having licenses in both fields and a long track record, 75 years to be exact.
You guys got me insurance for my short film.
Did we?
I went through Chris.
I did not know that.
Yep. I got what did I get? Coverage, inland marina coverage for all the equipment.
Nice.
I can't believe I remember that, inland marina, and then just like a
you should
general
get your
liability
license. Absolutely.
coverage. I went through you guys, and you guys got me great rates, and I can testify.
Fantastic.
Appreciate
your business.
One thing where I thought you were going with that before you said don't reduce your coverages. Don't do away with your policy. Please don't be one of those people with
don't
no
be one of the
insurance.
8,
That's where I thought you were going, and please don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, let's move on. Wild card. Hypothetical question of the week, number 1. If you were given the choice to travel back in time, which would you rather be? A pirate or a Roman gladiator? Gladiator.
Gladiator.
You had one job.
Wow.
Let's restart that. Hypothetical question of the week, number 1.
No, you have to stick with the original.
No, why?
No, I'm not going to cut it out.
Cut it out.
No.
No. You said gladiator.
I believe the
That's
question was,
staying in.
if you travel back in time, would you rather be a pirate or a Roman gladiator? And go.
Pirate.
Pirate
Why?
all day.
Why? Why
Being
a pirate?
Roman gladiator is terrifying. You're put in an arena for people's entertainment, and you're pretty much your sole ending.
Fight
is-
tigers and bears and no way.
Yeah, fight until you die.
What do you think? Can I
Entertain
I
people
knew
until
you were
you
gonna
die.
say. I knew you were going to say pirate. And my question is, what do you think being a pirate entails? It's not a glamorous life by any means.
It's not glamorous,
You're
but
eating
you're not.
hardtack. You're on the ocean for months at a time. You have all sorts of diseases. You're fighting people with swords and muskets. Your
Sounds
life
great.
your life is thievery and whoring around.
You're right. So if life isn't going so,
Nick is like, that's great. Drinking rum all day.
Nate's logic is basically if life isn't going so great, put me in a cage and let me fight until I die.
I think
We
that
just
sounds great.
entertain tens of thousands of people,
Right.
hundreds of thousands of people in the Coliseum.
That brings up a great point. Here's what I will say. Yes, you do have to fight to the. It's not always to the death, by the way. That's not true.
No, if you win, you can fight again.
Oftentimes, but you get your freedom after a certain amount of fights won.
Nope.
Okay,
Give me the
you
open
become
ocean, baby.
famous all throughout Rome, which means that you do get perks, right? So you get
Aren't you
Until
kept as a slave? Like
initially,
you
but
die.
you're given certain freedoms, and then people who actually who started as gladiators who got out of the gladiatorial arena alive became
Gladiatorial?
like a person of immense power and prestige.
Where did you come up with this question?
Just off the top of my head.
It's pirate all day. Give me the open Caribbean Ocean. Give me some rum. Give me the beautiful vitamin D coming down from the sun. And
I think you're glamorizing being
You're
a
definitely
pirate.
glamorizing being a
little
pirate.
much
It
here.
was pretty horrific.
pirate's life for me.
You're thinking of Pirates of the Caribbean like that's real life.
Yeah.
That's not how it was. That's not how it
I
was.
would still be a pirate. Give me the pirate
You'd
life
want to
all day.
live on a ship with a bunch of men, pretty much all year.
Over being a slave, having to fight other gladiators and/or vicious wild
Yeah.
animals. Yes, I
Yeah.
would.
Well, you'd have
Shark-
to fight other men all the time.
Okay.
Shark
Me and
or-
my pirate gang against you and your pirate
Yeah.
gang.
right.
This isn't a dance-off. It's not the Sharks
The old-
versus the Jets.
The alternative is being put in an arena that you can't escape from with a tiger or other things.
Only sometimes.
To just fight until you're dead.
Open
Okay.
ocean, baby.
Fair. I would choose.
Come sail away.
You would be a gladiator.
would be a
You
gladiator.
sick bastard.
Yeah,
He just wants to take his shirt off. That's all he wants.
That's pretty much.
Really
I just want to get
does.
oiled up and take my sharp. Also, I think ancient Rome is cooler than the would be the 17th century.
Until you get eaten in front of hundreds of
18th
thousands
century.
of people.
Yeah, it would still be rad though.
Let us know
while
in
I
the
was alive.
comments: pirate or gladiator?
Hypothetical question of the week number 3. If you could be a successful professional athlete in any sport, what would it be and why?
This is a more straightforward question, I think.
It is. I still have a hard time answering this one, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you're all thinking he's going to say golf, which I obviously was my mind went
I don't
first.
think you would. I think you'd go for something more glorifying, maybe.
No, actually, I was going the other route.
He's
I was
going-
thinking like backup catcher. Like
Oh,
it's like chilling
Nick.
out, like sunflower season, the dugout all day, getting paid a nice salary to. I mean, I don't know. I thought about like a kicker in the NFL. Like that's kind of a.
Oh, so you want to do the least amount of work as possible.
I mean, I think a professional athlete is grueling enough, no matter what sport you do, because of all the travel.
What about like
yeah.
and this is, it's actually not my answer, but going along your lines, and you're a money guy.
I'm not a money guy.
Baseball
You're
players
exceedingly greedy.
baseball players get paid the most. And like a pitcher, you only go out there every 5 days.
I thought of that too. And you look like the old Atlanta Braves. You know, you got Tom Glavine and Maddox and Smoltzy. I mean, those guys used to play golf multiple times a week because they pitch once every 5 days and they play golf the rest of the time. So that was in my thought process as well. So that could be a good route there.
Yeah.
You know, if you were like an ace, like Pedro Martinez,
Yeah.
you know, just go out there once every 5
But
days.
then you'd have to
Yeah.
be an ace. Could you handle the pressure, you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pressure's a privilege.
pressure is a privilege. Yeah.
And he'd just screw around in the dugout the other 5
You like
days.
that quote?
No, it's fine.
Remember
Great
when
quote.
I forget what it was
is a
if
good
he
quote.
used
It is a good quote.
I think it was duct tape. Remember when he like duct taped Manny to the pole in the dugout? Like he just screwed around the other 5 days.
No, my thought on the backup thing was not because of pressure. I think it was simply like
So you wouldn't have to do anything?
no. It's just like
No, I get where you're coming from. You're just basically saying like it would be pretty chill otherwise,
Exactly.
and because being a professional athlete as it is, it requires a lot of training. It's a lot of travel. It's grueling.
Yeah.
I mean, you
in
have
and
to
of
travel.
itself.
I mean,
if
I
you're the
played in a
backup
3-day
catcher.
golf tournament this past weekend, and I was beat to hell afterwards.
I was on your side.
You know, and I'm saying, no, I mean, no one.
Beat
If
to
you're not a
hell.
golfer, you're not going to respect this. But I mean, those guys play like 7 days a week.
Oh, they do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Between like practice rounds, pro-ams.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they beat balls constantly. You gotta cut that one out. Not out, but you gotta cut it up. Beat balls.
I was with you there for a second.
I mean, I know you're gonna say, "Oh, you gotta walk," but I mean, these very,
Yeah.
hilly courses. Augusta National.
Well, do you have to walk, or can you take a golf cart?
You cannot take a golf cart.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
And you
know
have to
that.
wear pants, and a lot of these climates
now
are
we're
extremely
reaching.
hot.
Okay, all right.
And
fair.
so you walk around with swass and all this other,
Swass. Can we go back to how
Like a
he
Disney
played golf
character.
for 3 days and it was grueling?
I know. Well,
I played in Nor'easter on Saturday. It was cold and rainy for 27 holes.
You rode in a golf cart and drank high noons too.
Not many high noons.
What'd you mix it up with? A mattress?
We had some Jameson shots because it was so cold and rainy.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was.
That
nice.
warms you up a
So
little
you
bit.
could feel like you were in Ireland.
You kind of, it was that feel.
I like that. It's kind of a cozy vibe.
I actually got home that night and I fired up the old Twitter machine, X, and noticed that eWeather mentioned over a dozen boats that sank that day. I'm like, man, I just played golf.
Where?
I flew into that.
I'm practically a gladiator.
A pirate more.
That's the turbulence we flew through.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a little bumpy.
Yeah, absolutely. So
All right.
I think I'm gonna go ace. I think the ace is the best decision yet.
Okay, John.
He's got me thinking now. So I'd gone back and forth on this. I'll explain my logic. Originally, I was thinking football player.
No.
Hold on. Would you listen?
Just immediately
we just
shooting him
listened
down.
to you ramble on and on and on for 10 minutes here.
Maybe English Premier
Explaining
League.
Ooh.
Wait, do you mean football or you mean soccer? Like
I mean,
American
like
football?
American football.
Ah, okay.
But I think that would be the most fun, probably the most glamorous too. But
The most fun would be football.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to a football player? They say it feels like they got in a car crash every Sunday, and then it takes them days to recover.
Well, so that's why that's
Yeah.
my pause is all of the long-term effects. You know, your career can be with any sport, your career can be cut short, but I would say the odds are higher in football that your career is going to be cut short with one hit. You can be concussed and have all sorts of long-term effects from that. So with that, I was leaning probably more towards baseball. You can certainly have injuries, but you're not getting pummeled every Sunday. You get to play in the summer, nice under the lights, play some baseball, make hundreds of millions, and ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, that's solid.
I think it's baseball's it's a long season though, 162 games plus preseason.
There's too many
Spring
games.
training.
It is, but then November
Way too
into
many games.
February, you're just chilling.
Chillaxing.
I changed my
Yeah.
answer. I don't even like soccer, and I'm going English Premier League.
Why?
38 matches, and they're probably heroes over there. You got to think
They are.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso?
Yeah, Ted
Yeah.
Lasso.
How much fun do they have on Ted Lasso?
Exactly. I think I might go that route.
That would be kind of
That's
cool.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good question there.
All right, Nate. Tell us about your new segment
New section
here.
here.
Oh yeah, introducing a new segment.
We're not
So-
real estate guys anymore. We're now film guys.
No, we're not film guys, but you guys get
Cold in here.
you get 2 industry news segments per episode. So I figured we're always looking for a new segment, something cool to introduce to the podcast, change it up a little bit, keep things lively.
You think this will get Polar to sponsor us?
It's possible. They're probably more interested in pop culture than they are necessarily in market stats, but I could be wrong.
Let me just preface this really quick. Nate's bringing up pop culture, and shortly is about to reference 3 films. The newest one is from 1996.
That's correct.
Isn't pop culture like relevant new stuff in the world today, or is it? Like
Oh, these
all
movies
time?
are no. It's just all no.
Okay.
And these movies are so pervasive
Okay.
throughout culture that I mean, one of them is now on its 6th film, which
Yes.
is coming out this year.
Is it?
So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I
so
bet I
nice
know
try.
which one it
Nice
is.
try. How dare you?
I thought pop culture was relevant, timely stuff.
Dare you.
Like when you listen to pop music, you don't hear the Beatles anymore. That's on classic rock.
Why do you hate the Beatles so much?
Yeah.
I
What
like
do you
the
shit on the
Beatles.
Beatles so much?
I'm just.
I would say the Beatles are still culturally relevant. They're one of the best bands that's ever existed.
I'm not debating that.
How
guys.
dare? No, I'm just kidding. How dare? So anyway, so the new segment. So I think we've discussed this a little bit in the office here and there, but John,
we have certainly.
John is
discussed this.
Here and there.
John is knowledgeable and good at a great many things. I would
namely
say,
real estate and roofing. That's
yes,
basically
those 2 things mostly.
Construction.
He knows about pop culture. What would you say, Nick, are his strong suits? Maybe reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, only reality TV, and anything beyond reality TV is probably as unimpressive as it gets.
Did anyone? Speaking of, did anyone see the Below Deck Med finale on Monday?
Okay, we're not going there. So, so we could say that he has a dearth of knowledge when it comes to pop culture, specifically film.
And music.
And a lot of music, yes. So you guys know film is my thing. I
Get
thought
outta
that it
here.
would be cool to introduce a new little segment where we kind of we educate John
Okay.
Can I
on
ask
pop
you a
culture
question, Nate?
and film. Yes, go ahead.
When do you graduate? At what point in your passion for film
Yes.
do you graduate from calling them movies to films?
That's a sick.
when
That's a
does
sick
that
burn.
happen?
That's a sick burn, honestly. That's a good one. Yeah, pretty much when you go to film school.
Okay.
Yeah. When
Okay.
you go to film school, then everyone starts referring to them as films, and you're
Okay.
like, that actually sounds a little nicer. I don't know. I like that.
Quite sophisticated.
Movies. I'm a big fan of movies and television. So, John, I know that the horror genre is not really up your alley. You say
It's
you
not
don't
my go-to.
You say you don't like horror films. Now, I find oftentimes, Nick is also nodding his head. I find oftentimes when people say that they don't like horror films, just like with any genre of film, it's because they haven't seen enough of those films or haven't seen good ones. So, for instance, like a lot of people say, I don't like horror movies. And I say, what horror movies have you seen? They go, I've seen Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm like, well, okay, those are very cheesy.
Who was the key character in Friday the 13th?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Who's the from Friday the 13th
What? We've
part 2
already
and on?
established this.
You do
How
not
did
know,
I not know
Hockey
that?
Mask. Hockey Mask. Killer. Slasher.
Where did you grow up?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell.
I
He's,
have
he's not from
guesses.
this,
What
he's not from
happened
this
in
planet.
childhood?
There's,
I
this
went
is what I'm saying,
outside.
there's a
I
huge
played
gap.
sports. I built forts.
I did
I built
too.
forts
yeah.
too, John.
But we know who Jason Voorhees is, right? Somehow.
Did anyone watch TGIF like as a kid on Friday nights?
Urkel. Yeah, we watched all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
I think I just watched more shows like that.
Jesus Christ. So
Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World,
Boy Meets World. Okay.
Home Improvement. Jen and I still watch Home Improvement.
Oh, I think
Your
I know.
eyes just got crazy.
Yeah, Jen and I. We were watching Home Improvement the
Tim
other day.
Allen.
I have a picture I got to show you guys after. My buddy's on a shoot with Tim Allen, and he has a photo he took of Tim Allen looking directly at the camera, like caught him taking the photo.
Yeah.
They're at his house filming something.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I watched.
So what happened to you, John? I have a theory now that you've told me that. No, I'm not picking on you.
Yeah.
Seems like you watched a lot of sitcoms and then transitioned pretty much into reality TV.
I can tell you what happened.
Oh, okay.
So growing up, yes, sitcoms, and I talk a lot about how there's no more good sitcoms. So like
Sure.
as I got older,
You were big into Friends.
I
too.
watched a lot of Friends, Seinfeld, Everybody Loves Raymond. I watched a lot of sitcoms.
Yeah.
And now there's no good sitcoms.
No.
So I watch reality TV. I do look for other shows. Like Jen and I watch a ton of other shows, like The Bear, which we got into.
I heard the
was a
third
shameless.
season sucked.
So we haven't even started it yet, but we watch a lot of other shows.
Have you seen
But we
Schitt's
also-
Creek? That's a good sitcom.
I have seen Schitt's
That's a
Creek.
good one.
Yeah.
That's kind of older now.
Yeah,
New
but nope.
Girl was okay. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's a great show.
But no, we watch a lot of Shameless. I like a variety of new like Shameless and then like West Wing, polar opposites, but love both. So I do watch TV and look for other shows, but sitcoms is what is missing, and probably my day to day was filled.
That makes
With
so
reality.
much sense. Yeah.
We just solved it.
You just grew up. You didn't really watch movies as much though.
No, I watched sitcoms.
But so
You've
like,
never
when my-
seen The Goonies, Back to the Future.
do you remember going to Blockbuster and like?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
I
Am I
worked
am I
at Hollywood
crazy?
Video.
Yeah,
Hollywood
I
Video
went
and
to
Blockbuster,
both.
and you would go and you look at all the covers.
The
and
new
you'd be like,
releases.
"This is the sickest cover."
Yes.
I would like pick movies out by covers a lot of times. 'Cause I just thought the art was cool. But it would be like a thing that you did with your.
We did that a
your
lot. On
parents.
like Saturdays, we'd go to Blockbuster
What'd
or
you
Hollywood
watch?
Video.
Yeah. What did you watch?
My Cousin Vinny.
I've seen. I am a My Cousin Vinny fan.
I love My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah,
It's a great
there's
film.
nothing wrong with My Cousin Vinny.
Like the rest of the Utes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but there's a huge gap there, is what we're saying. So my idea is to kind of pick each month.
He solved it.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's crazy.
Wait, what
wow.
did you say earlier this week? The scariest movie he's ever seen?
I didn't say the scariest movie.
Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the
That's
Menace.
not what I said. Nate was talking about horror films and naming these, and I was like, he's like, you never watched those growing up? I said, no. When I was a little kid, the scary movie that sticks out, like when I was a little kid, the one that like traumatized me was Dennis the Menace. When you were like 5 years old, Dennis the Menace didn't scare you?
No.
I remember when my parents got divorced shortly thereafter, not like immediately thereafter, but a little while after, my dad started dating my now stepmom. And she had a daughter, Alicia. And one of the very first memories that I have is of Alicia not being able to sleep because she watched Arachnophobia.
Oh, yeah.
And she was petrified. And my father was like on the phone with her trying to calm her down like all hours of the night, like could not go to sleep because she watched that movie at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Have you seen Arachnophobia?
Carrie, Brian De Palma,
Oh, yeah.
that got me. I remember being young and sitting in front of the TV, and at the end, when she puts the flowers down her grave and her hand comes up out, it scared the shit out of me. I must have been maybe 6, 7 years old. Yeah, but I grew up watching all kinds of movies, and horror movies are not my favorite genre of film. They're just one that I find fascinating because you can trace the lineage and the evolution of horror. You can go back to a movie from the 1930s and watch how all the gothic elements from literature are intersposed into these movies, and then go, oh, okay, here that with Bela Lugosi in like the original Dracula, they took all these gothic elements and they evolved, and like a German expressionism became a thing. And then you watch in the 80s, you get like Fright Night and Lost Boys, stuff like that. You kind of watch the evolution of this genre. There's no other genre of film that is more easily traceable, and it deals with a lot of different issues. There's issues of sexism, race, all kinds of things. So I find the horror genre, and it's a really good insight into the human condition. But I love dramas, comedies, whatever. But there's not, the thing is, there's not a lot of good comedies these days either.
There's nothing.
Right?
This is why I watch reality TV. There's nothing good anymore.
That's not true. See, that's not true. That I've had that. Well, you can't say. If you're not the person to judge that.
You don't have the right to have an opinion.
I'm sorry, but you just haven't seen enough. So that brings me to my point. So for this month coming up, October, I think it would be cool to give you like a little bit of an assignment and then get your take, very like layman's take.
Three
of them. Yes.
Yes. In the next month.
That's not that bad.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad. You have free time.
I have
Fantasy
one
drafts
request.
are
Okay.
Is that if you give us assignments like this,
Yes.
you need to identify with a link on the show notes where I can stream it.
Absolutely. Can absolutely do
I
that.
don't want to go searching.
Easy. Easy. No, that's fine.
I'm not arguing.
Actually, there's a
It would be
nifty.
helpful, but you are needy.
There's a nifty thing called Google where it does that for you. Actually,
I know, but if you're putting the time and effort into it,
it's fine. I will do that. I will absolutely do that. So I chose these 3 things because they are kind of like seminal works within the horror genre.
Okay.
So 1960, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is a classic horror film. It's not very scary. It's a black and white film, but it
I haven't
is.
watched a black and white film in many years.
Yeah, it's one of the
ever.
best. It's one of the best films made. Period.
What about The Thing? What's the next one?
The Thing is 1982's The Thing by John Carpenter. So it's a remake of an older film. John Carpenter is one of the most famous horror directors. He did Halloween, the original Halloween, The Fog. He did Escape from New York. He's in his 80s or 90s now, and he's still working. It is a little bit gory. I will give you a warning ahead of time. It has.
I don't do good with that.
It's not gory in the sense of like a killer, like a killing real people. It's more gory, like sci-fi gore, like the monsters, creatures are kind of
You
like.
didn't get used to that on Boy Meets World?
So you're gonna make fun of me for this, but in high school we were watching Gladiator.
Yeah.
In the scene with the open wound when they put the maggots in it,
Yeah.
I passed out.
Passed out.
And then I hit my head 3 times and I had to call the ambulance.
What?
So you know how the desks in high school?
Did you get beat up all the time in high school?
No. So you know how the high school desks had, it was like the desk with like the armrest?
Yeah.
And so I passed out. And then I hit my head on the armrest of the desk next to me.
You were watching Gladiator in high school?
History class.
Okay.
So I hit my head on
historically accurate.
on the armrest of the desk next to me, then the seat on the desk next to me, and then on the cement floor.
Was this a dream?
So it was like,
Did this really
no,
happen?
no, this was real life. So it was like, boom, boom, boom. And I was out. Probably because I got hit in the head 3 times. So they had to call the ambulance. It was just
No.
like
Did
For
you
what?
call your mom to pick you up in the middle of the night? Sleepovers?
no.
Never?
The only time my parents had to come pick me up from a sleepover was we were playing Manhunt in October, and it was raining.
Yeah.
And this is also what I did: is I went outside and played Manhunt at night instead of watching
I love
movies.
Manhunt, yeah.
So we were playing
also
Manhunt.
did
It was
that.
Never
October.
played Manhunt.
Yeah,
in
oh my God, yeah,
It was
crazy.
raining and the
What's
ground was
Manhunt?
covered in leaves.
all the films
So-
I was watching.
See the scar up here?
Yep.
So it was the ground was covered in leaves, and I went to take a sharp turn.
Sure.
And my feet went out from under me, and I got knocked out again. But my friend that
You
was
have CTE. when you're older.
one of my
A lot of head injuries. That must be why you like reality TV.
one of my friends told me that my head was like a ping pong ball off a rock because my feet went up into the air and I fell, and my head right here just went
You're
right
lucky
off a
you're
rock.
not dead.
I know.
That was before your frontal lobe fully
So I had-
developed, too.
It was like a big cut here, and then it came down all around my eye. I was all scraped up.
Okay, anyway, so this movie might actually kill you because it is a little bit intense. And then obviously Scream, meta horror, super cool, funny movie. I think it still holds up. So those are the three that I kind of think are like paved the way for a lot of films that are out now. I think you'll enjoy them, and I think it's a great introduction into the horror genre.
All right. We got some
So
work
we
to
have
do.
to, so are we gonna have to watch 3 movies a month now?
No, not always. We might whittle it down to. I think 3 is a good number personally. I watch much more than 3 movies a month. But we'll see. I don't know.
Are we gonna
Depends on how much you want to do.
Beyond the horror?
I'm only doing horror movies because it's October.
Sure. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Do you know John has not seen Good Will Hunting?
Oh, buddy.
We did a whole skit on Good Will Hunting. And
Yeah.
He still has not
It's
seen
not
it.
your fault. It's not your fault.
Did Alfred Hitchcock?
It's not your fault.
Was The Birds Alfred Hitchcock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Good. North by Northwest. Strangers on a Train. Yep.
Okay.
What's your take as a film guy
Mm-hmm.
on like Blair Witch Project?
Blair Witch Project. When I was a kid and it came out, a lot of people thought it was real,
Yep.
which was scary as hell for me, being a child, being told that the Blair Witch was real and that it was real found footage. It completely transformed. I mean, it founded kind of like was the jumping point for the found footage genre, which is now so popular.
What was the name of it? What genre?
Found footage.
Okay.
Found footage. So like Paranormal Activity, Wreck, VHS, that whole series, all those series are founded from that. It made, I think, something like 100 times its budget. Yep. So it was a transformative movie. I like it. It still holds up. It's a little schlocky. The acting's a little, whatever. But I'm telling you, you watch that movie with the lights off in your living room, and it will freak you out. It's most of it is just
Which one?
noises. You don't actually even see anything. It's just them reacting to noises in the forest. But it taps into that primitive fear of being lost and being in the dark. And I don't know if you guys, I go backpacking and stuff and hiking in the woods. When you're in the woods by yourself at night, it's a freaky feeling still to this day. So I think it's a good movie, and I would highly recommend it if you want a good scare.
What was the other one you mentioned there? Paranormal? I think I saw
Paranormal
the first-
Activity.
Yep.
Yep, that was another one
I
that
don't
was
like
huge.
that stuff.
No?
No.
We should watch that.
That's a good one. Paranormal Activity is a really good one, and it's not gory at all. It's a haunted house movie, really, but it's all documented found footage stuff.
You like that?
I don't like it, no, but I have seen that movie when it first came out, and there's multiple ones now, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, so many. Yeah, like 5 or 6 of them now. Yep.
You guys watch Titanic?
Love
Yeah.
Titanic. Yeah. This is
I
gonna
did
be
too.
fun.
John's like, have you seen Little Giants?
I have. I did see that. Giants Cowboys.
Excellent. Rate this podcast.
John, go ahead.
8-2.
Nice, solid. I'll give it a 9.1.
Really?
Whoa.
I was gonna go like 7.6.
Why?
7.
That's okay.
Why?
Go ahead.
I just thought that I sound like you now.
Meandering too much.
It was a little all over
It's
the
okay.
place.
I'm
was
gonna
a-
cut it down so it's like so slick.
Okay.
It was a long agenda.
Yeah, it was a very long agenda.
We're at about
Actually,
2.5.
I think the agenda was
No, it
pretty
wasn't
similar.
Yeah, it was it copied exactly from the one you had before with
The
the exact
intro
amount of
was
points.
very long.
The
Yes,
intro
we had
was
a very long
quite
intro.
long. We'd love to know what you think about the podcast.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below. Reach out to us. Send us a direct message on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We can't wait to talk to you. Can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Definitely sharing the podcast helps out a lot. Rating it on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Follow us and get the word out. Get the word
going
out.
to have a call to action, John? Some kind of incentive for somebody? Nate and
Do
I
you
are
see?
always...
Do you see me starting to talk towards the mic before you cut me off? That's kind of par for the course. What usually happens. Anyways, if you're still listening, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you.
Drop the comment Snuffleupagus
Ooh.
down below.
If you
do
made
they-
it this, if you
What
made
do
it
they
this
win?
far,
We made it this far.
What
Yeah.
do they win with Snuffleupagus?
The
nothing.
first 10 Snuffleupagus comments can get a Starbucks gift card.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Really?
Coffee on me.
And
Alright.
he's mad at me for quote unquote wasting money on equipment.
That's
I'm
not
all about the
wasting.
fans. I'm all about the fans.
Yeah, it's not all about you, Nate. All right,
thanks,
thank
guys.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Shootin The SHT. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. And if you enjoyed this content, please share it with others and leave us a rating and a review. Buying, selling, or want to connect with Nick and JT? Visit Slocum Home Team on Facebook and Instagram or slocumhometeam.com. We'll see you next time.
We are out.